Hello, chat. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to another Ninja Cutter show. Today we have a very special guest. We have my friend, one of the coolest, nerdiest dudes I've seen on Twitch, and that is Norph Star. Norph Star. Hello. Hello. How are ya?
Just my 3D printer's running in the background. Should be finished in a bit. But
Nice. Nice. Hello, gatos. Welcome back. Welcome back. Alright. As you know, the very first thing we do when we do an interview is we shout out the guest. And the fun thing about shouting out the guest is it plays a random clip from their channel. And you're going to have to provide context of what this clip is. And it's like roulette, so who knows what we're going to get. So, here we go.
There's not many clips, so. Oh, wait. Did it? Ah, yes.
Chaos and fire, I think. I see
Yep.
chaos and fire.
So that was just me recreating some memes in the Micoverse. And that ended up being a Potot. I was using XR Animator with the Potot model. And I was actually in the Alpha channel. And I put the Helmo GIF in the back. And I just posed and recorded it. That was actually pretty fun to do. Recreating memes in Micoverse.
That did not pin. What the hell? Alright, follow. Right. Yeah. Alright. Pin. Oh, is it because my creator dashboard thinks I'm not live? Oh, it pinned it, but it's timing out. Unpin after manually demonstrate. Alright, there we go. There it goes. There, the pin is pinned. Alright. Also, oh, hello, mechanics. Welcome back. Good to see you. You literally just plopped onto scene. How are ya? Alright. Let's do a bit of a deviation. Can you tell us the lore behind the name?
Behind the name is just a play of my in real life name and then like play with some phonetics. So North Star, it started off just North, and then eventually I saw the value of doing North Star, which sort of actually spawned every other piece of like what I've done here for like any lore behind my character. Yeah, it was the catalyst to pretty much everything else.
Okay, so play on your name, and we're looking at, I believe this is your logo, Interstellar Research Vessel Water Bear? Can you tell us about this logo? What does this mean?
So the constellation or the air, I forgot what it's called, but the star system is called the Ursa Minor or something like that. I do not remember it right now, but Ursa Minor, Ursa means bear, essentially. And I was just thinking, you know what? Water bear, Ursa, it's about right. There's a couple of other references to the North Star also, like the dipper up there. The topmost star is essentially the North Star. And makes I think this is the Little Dipper.
Yep, there's the Ursa Minor and the Ursa Major, according to Little Hollow. So, and then the North Star itself is the Ursa Minor, I believe. Cool. So so space and space travel seems to be a theme on your channel. In fact, your avatar, are you wearing a spacesuit?
Oh yeah, it's just a spacesuit from Unreal Marketplace. I have a commission that I had made, but that's the commission with the bad bones and bad vertex groups that I need to get fixed now. so that's fine. But it's been an interesting project so far.
Okay.
But yeah, metahuman, super simple, for me anyways.
So you are a metahuman in a spacesuit.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Metahuman was free, the spacesuit was not.
Interesting. So, yeah. Okay. Let's talk about your setup. You alluded to it earlier, but tell us about your hardware. What hardware is required to get your stream operating?
Oh boy. So for like simple games, like say I was playing an indie game a couple of weeks ago, I just stream on my desktop only. So that my main desktop is the 3090 with a 5900X. I think it has 32 gigabytes of RAM. I don't quite remember now. I just remember that I need to upgrade the RAM at some point because 32 or 16 is not enough. It's custom looped with an external radiator and all that. Ultra widescreen monitor, which makes things complicated to stream, that's for sure. And then I have a secondary monitor. I have a laptop here that generally acts as not the interface to Twitch, but more of like what's happening on Twitch. And then if I'm streaming on something more difficult or more heavy on my system, I have a secondary PC. I call it the Water Bear PC. It has a 12900K with a 3060. Yeah.
Damn.
And it also acts as my NAS. So it has 70 terabytes of storage and 96 gigabytes of RAM. So it's incredibly overpowered for what it does. But it was also technology that I it's components I found, so to speak, that was being thrown away by enterprise. What's the word? Being thrown away by these enterprise server companies.
Damn.
So I got them for cheap.
You dumpster dived them and got yourself a decent PC.
Well, that's the NAS. My PC itself is actually on the small form factor side. That was fun. It's small form factor and it's custom water loops. So that's why the external radiator exists for it. And that was interesting to deal with. I probably will never do it again.
Franken PC.
Yeah. Well, the NAS server computer, secondary computer, definitely Franken.
Okay. Damn.
Because you don't get 70 terabytes of storage from consumer hardware.
70 terabytes? What the hell are you doing with 70 terabytes?
Backing up my streams.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, really. I don't see for 720p streams at 30 FPS, they're about 1 gigabyte per hour. If I were to go to 1080, I have no idea how much storage that will take. I think I'm actually using a lot of space just for streaming already. So that's boy.
Okay. Tell us about your software setup. What software is required to run your stream?
Well, OBS obviously, but it's like connected to Stream Elements, connected to Twitch directly. You know, that's obvious. But what we're seeing here, I didn't mention the leap motion. I'm controlling my hands. Whoops, bumped in the microphone. I'm controlling my hands with leap motion, and that's going through VC face.
Oh.
And then the poses are being controlled by XR Animator. So it's through the VMC protocol. Essentially, I can just change different poses right now if I really wanted to. I can. XR Animator is actually fascinating because I can just input a video file and they'll do a dance for me.
Ooh,
But there
impressive.
are limitations with like it can't do track leap motion. So
Mm,
that's why it goes to BC Face, and then BC Face goes to Micoverse. And
that sounds
eventually, I try to get Unreal, my own project for Unreal. That is not now.
that sounds complicated.
Oh yeah.
But you've gotten it to work.
Yeah, it was under the guidance of I think it was Godman and Mild Mannered also helping me out there to sort of push me to the right direction. So certainly helpful.
Wow. So your stream definitely has a presence in the Micoverse.
Yep. I didn't expect it to be that much of a presence, but it worked out, I guess.
Nice.
I
Nice.
still can't do thumbs up with this thing.
I think there's a thumbs up in the Micoverse, isn't there? Like just a
Yeah, there
regular.
is, but I can't switch between. I don't like switching between VMC and then the Micoverse animations.
Mm,
Yeah, my thumb's all messed up.
that's okay. That's okay. All right.
Anyways,
Let's see here. All right. Can you tell us about the Space Corp? So, can you tell us about your time working for the Space Corp? And are you on voluntold vacation? Retirement? What is going on with the Space Corp?
so it's more like a layoff, really. Uh, I'm just being cheeky about the voluntold retirement or voluntold vacation part. They essentially gave me a contract to do and I was on contracts, and they essentially voided the contract, didn't tell me why, and they disabled my ship. So I'm just floating in near what is it called? Polaris AB, I believe. So, or is it
Sag.
B? Polaris B. So, yeah. And then the layoff part is actually part of real life lore. So
Oh,
that's fun.
wow.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes. So you're literally just kind of dick. You got laid off mid space flight
Oh yeah.
with no.
So laid off, and they disabled my ship. So, like, my ship has advanced AI and a couple of other things. Also, it has drones. It has a couple of other advanced computers disabled. But at least they gave me the nutritional printer still,
Damn.
so I can eat, and life support systems.
They give you the minimum.
The minimum.
Mm. And
Exactly.
what
Now I
kind
can
of.
get my ship working again.
Okay, yeah, maybe you could hotwire some of those badass systems. Or at least an AI.
Oh yeah.
So you could have some company.
Yep, that's the intent.
Okay. What kind of research were you doing on the SS Water Bear? What were you up to?
So I was just doing the composition of like scanning planets around this area, the stars, and then surrounding space. Background radiation, seeing what the asteroid pollution is at. Yeah, checking out the compositions of those asteroids. Fun stuff.
Hmm.
And I have no idea why the contract was voided still.
Never trust those government contracts. They can pull the slip anytime. That sucks.
Government corporate contracts.
Do you have any
It's
plans
like
to
Arasaka.
do you have any plans to try and get your ship back from Space Corp? Or are you
Almost definitely.
happy
This
streaming full time?
well, See, the issue is that there's no income right now, and eventually the coffers would run low. So I will have to get the ship running at some point, so I can do some work. Um, but it's not like I am irresponsible with what I have. I have a tons of backups, so to speak. So I'm chilling, doing whatever I can. But you know, this streaming gig really is just for one of the points of this streaming gig is just to train myself in a couple of other things and also prevent voice cord atrophy, I believe it was. This past lockdown, for the COVID lockdowns, I wasn't talking a lot. I was doing remote work, and when lockdowns were lifted, I noticed that my throat was getting sore every time I went out and talked a lot. So this was more, yeah. I'm just trying to avoid that and a couple other things, and upskilling myself.
So, while you're stranded in space and doing nothing, you decided to become a streamer. One,
Exactly.
there's social interactivity. Two, so you could practice and use and exercise your vocal cords. And three, work on your Riz.
Yep.
Mm.
I usually don't have a speaking role, so am working on myself essentially. It's different goals in mind.
Did your Space Corp order a tank, by the way?
Like our tank.
Look behind us.
I don't think we call them tanks. Not in space, anyways. We call them starships. I actually don't know. We call them frigates.
Frigates?
Yeah.
There may or may not be a frigate behind us.
Ah. Interesting. Are they trying to silence me?
I don't know. They could be looking to flex and
Don't-
silence you if you may have already said too much about Space Corp.
If we don't move, maybe they won't see us.
Gotcha. Okay. So now that you are streaming for your health and sanity, what kind of content do you enjoy streaming?
It's a lot of variety, really. I'm still trying to find a groove, but I don't think finding a groove is really viable. Being a variety streamer, so I've been doing 3D printing more recently, more in depth 3D printing creative stuff. I've done character modeling in the past, and then of course gaming. Tons of things on my plate. I would say I am sort of a jack of all trades, master of none sort of deal. And that is to a fault, I would say. Yeah, but I'm also open to many other projects or suggestions. It's not just those.
What made you decide to make that plunge? Like, what was the exact moment that made you decide to start streaming on Twitch?
Honestly, finding the skills, finding that I need to do, what's the word? Finding out that I need to improve myself in some aspects, and thinking about it and thinking that Twitch was one of the avenues that I was able to take. That sort of pushed me to that direction. And then the benefit of like being paid isn't really there. I'm making pennies at this point.
Yep.
The main goal is essentially just bettering myself overall and making sure my voice isn't lost again.
That's cool, man. That's cool. How's
Also,
your
the tech is cool.
The tech is cool. I will agree with that.
Yep.
And how's your streaming experience been so far? Have you encountered any unexpected challenges and rewards?
It's been okay so far. There's always the hanging doom above me about eventually I will have to. Well, I've never stopped looking for jobs, but eventually I would have to try even harder. But it's been okay. The regulars in my channel, I really appreciate them for sure. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have continued or found a daily schedule or anything like that. The moment I hit affiliate was actually pretty much like a good point. Uh, it boosted morale.
Nice.
In terms of like unexpected challenges, I would say the most unexpected challenges is like not letting my bodily functions interfere with streams. So
Huh?
that was interesting. Like um, burping on stream, trying not to burp on stream, not like getting my meals done before stream, and then heading to the restroom constantly.
Yeah, some streamers
I
just
think
flat out let them rip right into the microphone on purpose.
oh that should be there. I think there's a content flag for that. No,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, if it's for memes, sure, but I don't think it's. People might think it's a fetish thing. I think is the issue. I know I've accidentally let a burp or two go through stream at some point, but yeah, bodily functions always betray me at some point.
Also, the mic is really easy to quickly mute and let it. Yeah,
Yep, that is why I have a fancy mic.
nice.
In terms of like unexpected rewards, uh, b- b- I guess the mini shout outs from Miko was like an unexpected reward. I didn't really expect it. I plastered my Twitch handle in my house in Mikoverse just in case somebody was visiting. But the part where Miko was shouting me out on stream was unexpected. I didn't actually expect her to do anything.
Yeah,
I expected her to like delete that or something.
no,
That was the unexpected reward for me.
yeah, that was a cool moment. I was moderating during that spot. You know, she's like, and check out North Star's house. Like automatically, she recognized that that was your full house and how awesomely decorated it was, and you had like the nicest pool and backyard. Like, I thought that was cool, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
It would ended up paying off. It's interesting. Oh,
yeah.
another tank. I think that was a BPV or something like that passed by.
um. So, what is your streaming schedule like? And when are viewers? When can they catch you live?
So I stream. I'm starting to get into a groove of streaming on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Short stream on Mondays, which is Make Your Mondays or Mikoverse Mondays. Either build something in Mikoverse or build something in real life. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do longer streams. That's a variety of content happening there. But more recently, I've been doing things for the 3D printer on top of the gaming and bouncing back and forth. So that was fun. This Monday, actually, I'm actually building uh, the second grading machine. Because the
Oh, the
first one
second
was like,
iteration. The
yeah.
first one
Well,
didn't work out so well.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's a second iteration, but a completely different braiding machine this time around. The first one, I kept on running into issues. The islands kept on breaking. The track islands kept on breaking. So I went in to Blender, learned how to do 3D printing stuff in Blender, and then reinforce it with Screw. Talk back and forth on stream. Yeah, people came in, helped me out. I think Nepe actually was the key person that helped me out in the stream, really, because I was still learning how to do all this stuff. Yeah, it didn't. It failed still because there's some major flaws in the end after the second build screen, but I learned a lot. So I resent the author of the original file, but I learned something else.
There's some learning to be done. Okay, okay. Well, let's talk about 3D printing because you are kind of a maker streamer. How did you first get into 3D printing?
Let's see. Back in it's way back then, like pre-pandemic. I actually started with resin printing. I saw a cheap resin printer on Amazon, and I was also starting to do Dungeons and Dragons back then. So I was like, oh, so resin printing is
Yes,
way more higher resolution, but it requires a lot of post processing. So for D&D, having higher resolution printing was actually pretty cool, but the post processing and the maintenance for resin printing was a mess. I think I resin printed for 2 years, and then not 2 years, not even. I printed on and off really for 2 years, and I eventually gave up because it just kept on. The maintenance was horrible. Post processing, what I didn't mind, but the maintenance of resin printing back then was horrible.
So DMD is what made you want to get into 3D printing, so you could 3D print like minis or?
Yep, 3D printed minis. One of the first things were tokens, basic tokens. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun because I got to paint those tokens. You know, it was a creative outlet, and I was also working back in the day, so I couldn't make my own stuff. So yeah.
What was your earliest project you were proud of with creating with a 3D printer?
Well, yeah, the tokens for like D&D were the first prints. With printing the minis, of course, but more recently, one of the first ones of the ones that I am proud of. I wouldn't say. Oh wait, no, I printed out a Captain America shield for. Let's see, what was it for? It was for my friend's wedding because they had a photo booth. I printed that out in little chunks, and then I put it all together. And then, this is where I learned a whole bunch of techniques, learned what glue I should use, the plastic stapler. It was certainly a learning experience. That was complicated, but it was very, very much one of the earliest 3D printing projects that I'm proud of. Everything from the resin printing was relatively simple compared to the Captain America shield.
Okay. For a Papega cat like me, can you walk us through the typical 3D printing workflow from design to final product? Like, I have no background in 3D printing, so I have no idea what goes into it. Like, can you
Mm,
break it down so I could understand, like, start to finish workflow,
yeah.
how it goes?
So, um, I'm still learning. I still consider myself a noob,
Mm-hmm.
100%. So I haven't made my own models. The
Okay.
way I learn is I sort of modify things that pre-exist. That's what the failed braiding machine allowed me to do, sort of learn, because it was so badly designed that I had to learn how to make these 3D models for 3D printing. So I'd never designed a 3D print exactly, but the process usually starts off of me browsing these sites that have makers who have uploaded their files already. So like Thingiverse, Printables, Maker World, Yegi. I just browse top files. Some of these sites hold competitions, and they actually have very cool builds that look interesting. And then back then I didn't do much research into the build. I trusted the author to be reliable. But the first braiding machine failed so bad that I learned the hard way that I need to make sure there's somebody that test printed it, and if there's no test prints of it, then assemble it in Blender, which is what I did after the fact for the first braiding machine. That was a huge waste of material.
Ouch.
So the process is find the file and then now validate the file, and then choose the material, right? So if I'm printing something for my car, regular PLA wouldn't work. Um, PETG is the other material that's better for the car and is stronger. Um, and then there's ABS, ASA. There's carbon fiber reinforced material. Choose the choose the material. Do research on the
Mm.
material.
Saucy wants to know, how are they cool?
How are they? Which part? The
I'm
how
guessing.
is the
I'm
what?
guessing the designs.
Uh, cool design. Oh yeah. So some of them are. So these competitions that they hold, they are either very artistic or very utilitarian, so to speak. Let's see. One of the cooler builds is, of course, the Captain America shield, and then the other cool builds is like a piggy bank. Excuse me, is a piggy bank, but not a coin vault, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
it has this dial and gears you can print where you can lock up the coins and it sorts the coins for you. Um, that's one of the projects I am looking forward to at some point, but not now. It's not one of the higher priorities, so to speak, for me.
Okay. All right, let's get back into the process workflow. So you're saying choose a design, validate the design, then choose a material. What's next?
Uh, I After that, depends how big the prints are. If it's a huge print, I would have to put it in Blender, cut it up. Uh, that's what happened for this previous braiding machine, the crappy one. I had to split into three parts for the base and the outer track. Uh, that was interesting, another learning point. But it also was great to see that the dovetails I made for that splitting was actually it worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the part that I modified did not fail, but everything else pretty much failed. Yeah, I would say. So depending on how big it is, split into pieces. If it's just the right size, put it into the chosen slicing application. For my printer, the company that manufactured the printer, they have their own application. It's Bamboo. And for what it's worth, I don't recommend Bamboo just because they are trying to take the Apple approach, where it's a walled garden, and that goes against what makers are about.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress from that. So put it through the slicing program, and then arrange it as you need it, or let the application arrange the parts as you need it. And then click the slice button. Check the walls, see if it's nice and thick, see if it needs support. Check that option if it needs to be done, and then depending on what 3D printer you have, it can be either just an SD card where you just upload into the SD card and then put it in the 3D printer, or if it's like my printer where it's cloud connected, it can just be sent to the internet, which is an issue for me with Bamboo because the 3D printer needs to be connected to the internet to get that working.
Okay.
It can't be connected by LAN or anything. It has to be the internet. So, once again, do not get Bamboo. There are other 3D printing companies these days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So it's sliced up, and then you've reproofed it to make sure there's no weak points. And then what happens? Just push go?
Push go. It prints. Of course, have the filament already loaded. Have the print bed loaded. If you need to add glue, and then hit print.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the first 2 or 3 layers, watch it. Make sure it's not like grinding itself on the print or something like that. Make sure there's no spaghetti. One of the things for Bamboo is that they have AI detection for these errors. But again, it is walled garden.
Mm-hmm.
It works, but eventually they're gonna stop software support for this printer, which is stupid as hell.
It's
Yeah, so it's walled garden approach.
okay.
Spaghetti.
And then once it's printed, is there something else that happens after that?
Not for the filament. Filament printing is relatively easy. You get a little flat tool and just there's a plate, and you take out the plate and sort of try to flex the plate, and it'll pop itself
It'll
out.
pop off. Okay.
Depends on the plate, because there's also textured plates where the prints just easily lift off. But for the high temperature prints, it requires a flat plate, and I just need to use a flat tool to essentially pry it off.
Okay.
What else? I don't really do much post-processing for filament printing, unless it requires me to assemble it together for big prints. Resin printing post-processing, however, is a can of worms. Requires a lot of IPA alcohol, isopropyl. I never figured out how to pronounce that. IPA alcohol. It's like I have
Not
like
the beer.
10 bottles of IPA alcohol, not the beer.
Isotropy alcohol or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Chava wants to know.
I just realized the A is what?
Chava wants to know what is the most common mistake new people do.
Oh man. I guess it depends on what printer you have, but it's about getting it calibrated.
Calibration. Okay.
Calibration of the printer. For my printer and a couple of the other ones, it does self calibration. It makes it easy, but it's still required to get it calibrated every time. Every like 2 prints or something, get it calibrated, because I keep on forgetting to do that, and it makes an extremely grindy noise on the print
Thanks.
when I don't get it calibrated properly. For the cheaper 3D prints, calibrating them is a manual effort. You gotta get like a piece of paper or something, get the print head, print nozzle just nice and flat on the print bed. It's a can of worms for calibrating. There's a reason why I didn't want to do filament printing until pretty much last year, because something like Bamboo came out and it does the calibration for me.
Oh, nice.
But it's still important to do every time.
I gotcha. Okay, let's see if I learned enough. So find a design. Let's say my 3D cat. Prove the design. Make sure it's a good design. And it doesn't need to be printed in multiple pieces. So I don't need to slice it up. But then use the program that slices up for printing. And then let it check that to make sure there's no weak points, like my tail attachment or something. And then let the printer hit it and go. And then lightly jostle it off.
Yep. But make sure it's not like messing up or anything. But yeah, post-processing for resin printing is a big oof. Because it also requires a UV lamp to cure the resin. Yeah. That's why I stopped doing resin printing also.
Oh, so it's resin, and what's the other material?
A filament, which is
Filament.
PLA. Yeah. So the technical abbreviations for these is resin printing is SLA, and then filament printing is FDM. I still don't know what it stands for.
Do you recommend somebody
I don't remember from heart.
Yeah, would you recommend somebody start out as filament before they do resin, or resin before filament?
Oof. Depends on application, where you're trying to go for, really. Like I said, like when I first started D&D, making figures, high resolution printing, that was great. But it requires post-processing. But the calibration, there wasn't really much I needed to calibrate for resin printing. It was...
Yeah, welcome back, Lady Akuna.
It was pretty straightforward for resin printing. The only parts are again, the post-processing.
Yeah, North Star is a maker streamer here on Twitch, Lady Akuno, and he's telling me about 3D printing because that's part of his content. He does Maker Mondays, where he makes 3D. He works on 3D projects. Speaking of that, how do you integrate 3D printing into your Twitch streams? Do you take viewer requests or show the printing process live?
Viewer requests. Nobody has really sent a request on what to print. My Discord's always open for it. But I've been sort of self-guiding into projects pretty much. Let's see, what was the other part? How do I integrate into my streams?
Yeah, how do you integrate into your streams? Do your viewers get to see you printing live?
Okay. So more recently, I've been doing the 3D part editing on stream for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and just sort of what's the word? Lost some train of thought. Sorry. Okay, so more recently I've done the edits on stream.
Okay.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I send it to the printer and have a little camera on the side. So this printer I have has a built-in camera that's network attached.
Oh, nice.
And I just stream it to my computer and then stream it to Twitch.
How nice.
And it prints while I'm playing games. And then I switch back and forth to the
Check on
3D
it.
print and then the game. Yep, check on it. If I'm doing like a pee break, I switched it to the 3D printer mode. Um, yeah, but on Mondays, that's when I try to assemble these prints. That's again more recent
Hmm.
content for these past Mondays, uh, Maker Mondays. Yeah,
That's cool, man. Well, maybe I will find you a 3D cat, and you can print a 3D cat for me.
yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get a resin printer. That might be a better job for a resin printer. But,
Lady Kuno
maybe I
says,
can learn something.
I use Eventor to model. I am so glad I stopped in. I've been looking for a channel about printing. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I'm not. I am about printing, but I'm not. I'm a variety streamer, so to speak. So there'll be weeks where I don't have printing or any projects lined up. But again, send some over through the Discord and I'll take a look. But as far as things go, I think I have a couple of projects in mind already.
I drew Hatch's logo to print. Nice. Nice, Lady Akuno.
Mhm.
That's very cool. Um, what are some of the challenges of showcasing 3D printing on a live stream?
Mm. So during the times when it is printing, I sometimes walk to the 3D printer and I don't have a wireless microphone. So I have to go back and forth to my streaming setup, to my printer to talk, and then
Oh,
show it
explain
off in the camera.
what's
And
going
then I go
on.
back to my microphone. Yeah, exactly.
Mm,
Just to show off what's going on with the printer, the print itself. Um, that's when the challenge. That's one challenge. Um, I've only had like 3 maker builds so far, so it's not really a lot. But the ones, I think the hugest challenge was again that first Brady machine that failed so spectacularly the past 2 streams on Monday. That is probably the biggest challenge, making sure the print does not fail on me like that. Actually, I think both 3 maker streams had some sort of issue because like the first project on stream was the maker not the maker the stream DIY stream deck, and I ended up buying a board that was too big for the stream deck chassis, and that was a challenge. Worked through it, shrugged it off. But
yep.
this braiding machine was definitely the worst experience I've had.
Chava says, imagines mom's chat with a 3D printer. Heck W, Chaos, NSFW. 100%. If she let her bobs influence what she prints, she'd be printing boobas, peens, and booties for sure. 100%.
Suspicious phallic objects.
Yes, 100%.
Mhm.
Daughters. Is that Lambo running over mechanics?
Nice.
I can draw those too. Haha, says Lady Akuno. Well, there you go. Looks like you have a friend that in the community, Lady Akuno, who can draw 3D objects for printing.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Have
It's always good having a good reason to learn stuff.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hands-on learning.
Have you ever had a 3D print fail live on stream, and how did you handle it?
Just shrugged it off. Really, nothing catastrophic. While printing, nothing catastrophic. The worst instance was pretty much I got an error from my 3D printer saying LiDAR sensor LED failed. And I'm like, oh no, that sounds expensive. But it just ended up being some dust or something on the LED. Just cleaned it off, shrugged it off, started to print again. There are other things where, like, there's spaghetti, first layer defect, like where the the first layer didn't attach to the bed. Just clean it off. You try again. Um, Thankfully, I've never had issues where the 3D print grinding on the nozzle has happened live. So thankfully, that horrible grinding noise did not go on stream at some point.
Yep, can you imagine chat sending files to print? Yeah, they'd send a bunch of naughty stuff. Java asks, how secure are online 3D printers? Can you offsite print stuff?
So that's why I don't like Bamboo, because it requires the cloud connection.
Mhm.
There's already been an issue with Bamboo
Oh,
where somebody or something sent a stop command to all cloud connected printers
ooh.
and start command to print while there was a print or on the bed itself. So that damaged their printer.
Damn.
So security wise, I don't know. That's why I want it to be local connection only, but I can't. Right?
That's kind of messed up.
Yeah. So that's why I can't recommend Bamboo. You can't jailbreak it either.
Eggs.
And in the case that somebody did try to jailbreak the Bamboo printer, they patched it. So they have said again they want to be the Apple of 3D printers, and it is against the morals, the what's the word for it? The ideology of makers, right?
Mm.
Of 3D printing. Making a walled garden is terrible.
The ethics. Yeah, that's a good one. Ethics, GeoFracture Games. Welcome back, GeoFracture Games. Oh, so expensive.
Ethics
Yeah. And Smokescreen made the comment, they're probably stealing his STLs. What's an STL?
So STL is just the 3D print file. I mean, most of the STLs are online anyways, the ones I've printed. But as far as I know, there aren't any leaks for any STLs. Knock on wood. Because there are people who print for business.
Not mine.
If there was a leak, then that's going to light a fire on their ass for sure.
I feel like with this whole like AI data rush, I feel like 3D printing companies with cloud-based services might be tempted to farm their user base.
Yeah, there's already AI-based model making. How they get those models, I don't know. I'm afraid that the Bamboo Labs guys are going to do the same thing, train AI based off what is uploaded to their platform. So yeah.
Yeah, Smokescreen says Copium, they're not sharing the data with the NSA. Try to print anything Sedge and end up on a watch list. Probably.
Oh yeah.
Equals bad.
Yeah, don't do ghost guns for sure.
Okay, Lady Akuno wants to know a go-to brand of printer. She's looking
I was actually
at
going to mention
Prusa.
Yeah. So I don't recommend Anchor either, but I don't know what their ideology stands. Prusa seems to be a good brand so far. And I've heard about Ender. I don't know if there's if they have any advanced 3D printing sort of deals going on. I haven't been paying attention to Ender, but definitely Prusa. Prusa are the people who run printables.com, and they run a lot of good competitions. And they are not the Apples of 3D printing world. They actually have a really cool printer that I was looking at just last week, but I would probably never get, or probably not get recently, because they have a multi-tool head printer, and then it's also extra large. So you can print huge builds, but also you can print multi-material builds also. Applications for that are limited right now because we don't know what best use. I don't know what best use case scenarios there would be, but it's very interesting. Yep, Prusa probably should have been my go-to, but they didn't have any. I don't know, actually. I don't know why they didn't pop up my radar when I was doing research for 3D printing.
Because Amazon wanted to sell you the one they had.
For bamboo?
No, I'm saying stock-wise.
Oh.
Bezos wants to sell you what he has plenty of stock of versus not enough stock of.
Yeah, I stopped buying from Amazon.
Resin printers. Yeah. All right.
I've always wanted to do that.
It's nylon gato. Ah. Man, you have all kinds of maker stuff. So wait, how many printers do you have? And then you said you have a laser engraver. What other maker stuff do you have?
That's pretty much. Let's see. Let me turn around real quick. I'm just gonna. I have a Hakko desoldering iron, F soldering iron, of course. I used to do some keyboard stuff. That's probably gonna be a future project for the keyboard stuff. I don't know if you want to qualify Raspberry Pis as part of being a maker.
Yeah, you do. That's maker stuff.
I have a Raspberry Pi swarm of sorts. Networking setup for that. Let's see. The laser engraver I have is a CNC version versus the laser pecker, which is a cone laser engraver. Conical laser engraver. I have. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've been thinking about getting one of those. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but like those little table saws, those super small, super cute table saws that like fit, that are like no bigger than what's a good size here? No bigger than, I don't know, jar mail, a banana. No bigger than a Hold up. Let me grab something.
Now, what are you gonna do with a miniature table saw?
A miniature table saw no bigger than a 5-pound protein container. Cut wood. Maybe try to cut metal, but I doubt it. There's some projects that require 3D projects that require wooden dowels. Or that. But I decided against it. I think, all right, the current goal, instead of getting a miniature table saw, is to get a Dremel set. And then print 3D print a table assembly to use the Dremel as a table saw. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Smokescreen wants to know, how useful are you at finding a laser engraver? And also, should he add a laser module to his CNC?
I mean, if you have an old 3D printer, then why not? I think that's probably the better way to do it.
Yeah.
If you already have a CNC, I think you should keep it in CNC mode, because laser engraving and laser cutting creates a lot of fumes, obviously. It's literally burning the wood and burning any material. But I mean, I guess if you have a CNC, you already have it enclosed. But if you have like an old Ender, there are kits out there that allow you to convert it into a laser engraver. That is probably the preferred way, instead of buying a CNC laser engraver outright like I did. What was the other one? Useful. I don't quite understand the how useful are you finding the laser engraver question. I haven't laser engraved a lot of things. Is the issue.
Yeah,
Enders have.
Mild plans just to steal Adam Savage's Nerd Cave. And then Smokescreen says, Nodders, the new Enders have an attachable module you can add on or unplug when you're not using it. I just wonder how useful.
Oh, now I'm thinking about the Prusas with the multi-tool heads. I'm wondering if you can get a laser module for one of those tool heads. That is interesting. Because while it's printing, it can switch tool heads on the go.
Creality copied them? Yep. Typical. Sounds like you guys have your own nerd cave going on here. These maker stuff.
Adam Savage, you know, one of the main hosts of Mythbusters, you know. I actually grew up with
I don't know who Adam Savage is. Who's Adam Savage? Uncultured swine?
Yeah, he's. Oh man, I don't know how to explain him. He's a crazy maker. He's very charismatic. He is one of the headliners for, I think it was Open Sauce.
Oh, this is
he inspired a ton of creators. Huge nerd.
This is
King Nerd Maker.
The Mythbusters host, right? Where he was?
Yeah. Exactly.
I hated watching that show.
I grew up with Discovery Channel, so it's pretty cool. Eventually, I want the chance to meet him. Just sad that I can afford tickets to Open Sauce this year. And there used to be Silicon, which is the NorCal version of Comic-Con. That's dead. So I can't meet him there anymore. So that's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, eventually I really wish to meet him at some point.
Okay, since he's a professional maker, he may or may not have influenced you in wanting to be a maker and make stuff.
His overall ideology is very respectable. Like, making mistakes, they're mistakes. They're learning points. You know, it's important. That was important for me to learn also. Especially for the braiding machine. Like, my morale was low, but silver lining was I learned stuff.
You learned that you need a proof of design, even if it's got, hosted with just a few ratings or whatever.
Exactly. And if I cut my finger, that's just another learning point. As long as I don't lose a finger, which, that sucks.
Yep, I think he influenced most makers.
Yep. He influenced not just with creativity, but also ideology.
Look at that battle styles.
The ideology part is probably the most important part, I would say. I learned from him.
Yeah, didn't that show shut down when they had a cannonball, lodge into somebody's home because it, flew off course, offset, and into somebody's house?
I think what it was is that they had to reevaluate their safety protocols. So, again, learning point. But they weren't shut down for that. It's just, the way cable television goes these days. If it's not making money or anything like that, or if it's too expensive to run, it won't get airtime.
I guess
Mythbusters was like a passion. It was passionate.
Yeah,
it's sad, but yeah.
Mechanics is beating me up because apparently I didn't watch enough Mythbusters. It was a passion. Yeah, they probably gave them minimal budget, and with minimal budget, they tried to do the most insane content, and shit happened.
The last season, they actually had sub-hosts. I'm not sure what they're called, but they have these guys. They had Grant, Carrie, and forgot what his other name was, but they they had these lower hosts, off hosts, sub hosts. I don't know what you call them, co-hosts.
Co-hosts, yep.
Um, they were essentially laid off for the last season because some
Oh.
budget cuts problem.
Joe Grant, Ahmed Savage, ZOZ Brooks, and others, many others, Discovery hosts, are little inspirations for Hackermans and Makers, says
Yeah.
Smokescreen.
It's a shame that Discovery Channel just sort of. I think Discovery Channel fell off the deep end, if I remember correctly. But it's been a while since I paid attention to them. Wait, no, they tried to have their own streaming platform, I think, and that failed horribly.
They fell off.
Yeah, so now it's all on not on YouTube. So, yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, it's just budget cuts. What do you do when you have low budgets and no basically budget for producers or stuff? You go down the reality TV rabbit hole where you make it up on the fly, and reality TV kind of like took over, especially during COVID, during the writer strikes, during different things. So a lot of shows, a lot of networks, and a lot of productions fell off hard.
Yep.
I just got here. Mythbusters still exists. That's crazy. The hosts probably get more views on their YouTube accounts. Now we're talking about that because apparently a big inspiration for North Star was Adam Savage, and this cat didn't recall who he was, and then Google reminded me who he was, and it was and it was canceled. That show was canceled. Beppo. It fell off along with a lot of the good content on Discovery Channel, allegedly.
Yep. They made a ton of seasons, and then the channel probably saw it as good enough. We all just syndicate it. It's whatever.
It's a syndicate running on a loop. I think even people in caves know who Adam Savage is. Bro, you've seen my internet. Okay.
If you want to look up inspiration, I think Adam Savage is Tested is one of them. Nerdforge is cool also. If you want scuffed, funny material, I think there's the guy who did Open Sauce. I forgot his name, but there's also Michael Reeves. Can't forget Michael Reeves for Maker stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Discovery Channel killed itself. My miscategorizing itself. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get back to talking about 3D printing. What are your favorite things to create with a 3D printer?
That's a difficult one because I don't think I have a specific category. I think it's just whatever I find, really, because I'm not making my own designs yet. I think I have the skills now to make my own designs, but there's also other projects that already exist. I think I want to get to a point where I can just give away these 3D prints, but I would have to get a PO box and all that. I'm not sure. And then people would have to be comfortable about giving me their address to get it shipped. So that's another can of worms I might have to deal with, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like your dream 3D print? Like the dream like project you want to do, like pie in the sky thing?
Print a car. No.
Print a car.
Somebody actually tried to 3D print a car. Actually, no, they didn't try. They actually did print a car. I'm not sure where that went.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny.
Probably runs better than a Cybertruck. Eh? Yep, they did.
Let's see. If I want to 3D print, I actually don't think there is a favorite thing for me to, or not a dream project I have.
What about like a lightsaber?
I still would say I'm a beginner. A lightsaber. I'm not a huge Star Wars nerd. I appreciate it, but I don't think I would want that hanging on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a Witcher sort of guy, Breaking Bad. But I can do a Witcher sword.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Other than that, I don't know. I quite think I have much.
Because I've seen like a lot of like cheesy bread cuts went over cosplayers, and a lot of cosplayers are 3D printing a lot of their costumes and pieces these days.
Yep. I actually went on a date and the girl is like, "So, can I 3D print stuff? I'm on your printer." And I'm like, "What the?"
Hey, what's going on,
She was a
Hatch?
cosplayer, so I mean, all right, that didn't go well, but all right.
Yeah, she just met you,
I'm not against
and
it.
then she's like, "Can I use?" Like, doesn't even care about the day. She's like, I need your 3D printer, and I print
Exactly.
to it. It's like, you paying for the filament? You paying for the? Gonna do a tip? I'm actually printing
Yep.
my son's Halloween costume right now. Oh yeah, Hatch TV is also a
Nice.
3D maker. Welcome back, Hatch. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Let me shout out Hatch really quick. And also Gato's Hatch's motherboard shit the bed. So if you guys are feeling
Dang.
generous,
Is it
please
the
follow
13th gen?
him.
Is Miranda
Pornstar
Spitz and
name.
Swallows?
Miranda Spitz and Swallows is Bull
I
Rax's
believe that
pornstar
was
name.
German as well, maybe.
It's
Yikes.
the 13th gen motherboard. Oh man.
Yikes. Yeah, so if you guys are want to help this Giga Chad, who's a scam baiter, if you don't know what a scam baiter wastes the time of a scammer. So they have less time to scam actual people out of their hard-earned lifetime savings. I got to experience what it was like to be a scam baiter on Hatch's channel, and it was a fun experience. I definitely want to do it again. Think that Gato, if you get a 3D printer, you can pull 3D printer diggers? What are 3D printer diggers? I have a DM you hatch, just woke up though. Oh yeah, Beppo's a PC builder himself. He just happens to rebuild PCs just for fun. He may or may not have parts for you. So definitely get in contact with Beppo Hatch. Like gold diggers, but for 3D printers? Really? That's a thing? Oh wow. So that was your day. It was literally one of those 3D diggers. 3D printer diggers, eh? North Star?
Uh, I don't know if I wouldn't call her a 3D gold digger because she had her own career and all that. But
I can't with
yeah, it was
Gathas.
weird. It didn't go far.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
I know.
Okay.
I think she had her own 3D printer that was broken, and she expected me to fix it also. So I'm handy, but I'm not gonna. No.
All right. What advice would you give aspiring makers who are interested in getting started with 3D printing?
Oof. So I think what your use case is going to be and what your capacity would be for post processing would be, or how hands on you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be completely hands off, you can do what I have essentially, but please don't do Bamboo Labs. You can do Prusa.
Rusa.
Um, there's also Prusa with the enclosures. I don't know if they actually have auto calibration, so do your research on that. Um, you can, but if you want higher resolution prints for like cosplay or for D&D minifigures or something like that, resin printer is the way to go, but it requires a lot of hands-on things to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're playing D&D, you already probably have figures and you're already painting your own figures. So washing the figures and then carrying the figures probably isn't much of a deal for you. But definitely research the material stuff, the hazards, the benefits of each material, the pros and cons of each material, essentially. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the community these days is extremely large, and there's tons of resources to look up. Um, yeah.
Okay. So it looks like we had some tips in chat. Let's see if you agree with them. Uh, okay. Smokescreen says used to learn new engineering principles and learn CAD based. Okay. Squaring and badly cut ender frame will teach you lots of new engineering principles. And then Box says, I can't imagine getting a printer without auto calibration. And then Smokescreen has another question. Is it bad if I drink uncured resin?
For you, no. No, don't drink uncured resin.
Okay. That sounds like that's death. Okay. For
But yeah, I
beginners,
can't
though,
imagine. Go ahead.
Patch says it's good to learn to manually level your device. It helps learn the process and such.
Yeah. I was actually visiting a friend and with other friends, and they were helping out how to calibrate their 3D printer, which is like an Ender 3 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and was malfunctioning like crazy. It was interesting watching them calibrate it. Especially let me appreciate auto calibration.
Okay. Mm.
But yeah, there's tons of videos to see what the process is like. If you want a cheap one without the auto calibration, then look it up. But if you want auto calibration, and you have to pay a lot of money.
A lot of plastics are way less dangerous than people say. There's a fuck ton of misinformation about plastics, but they are indeed there are indeed some very toxic ones, says Beppo. And then I just installed a BL Touch on my longer LK5 Pro. It's heavenly.
Oh man,
I
I
don't
do
know what
not
that
recognize that.
I have no idea what that means.
Let's see. But yeah, on the plastic side, there's food grade plastics. There's also biodegradable plastics. I'm not counting PLA as biodegradable because takes dozens of years to biodegrade. So while it's biodegradable, it takes time.
Can you 3D print food yet?
Yeah.
Like
I
chocolate?
mean, my spaceship can. Chocolate's possible, actually.
Really?
I wouldn't do that on my printer, but no. There's also wax you can use 3D prints for cast molding. There's also resin. There's also a resin version I've learned for cast molding. So you can make metal parts with 3D printing now.
Chocolate has been 3D printed? Bro. Bro.
You know?
I would love that. PLAs, PTGs, TPUs are all pretty safe. ABS gives off some toxic fumes. Nylon isn't that bad. Darren is a plastic you may not have heard of, but it's actually fairly common. And the stuff is freaking gnarly. Even if it explodes at temperature sometimes, you have to have a specific type of machine to mold it.
I think Delrin requires extremely high heat. I don't quite remember what material requires extremely high heat, but I think it may be out of bounds for my printer.
All
I
right.
think that may be industrial, if anything.
Yeah, Delrin is something else. Acetyl is very sensitive. You add smokescreen. You can learn how it works without doing manual calibration repeatedly. You can learn how your car works without rebuilding your engine every couple of days. That's true. That's true. I mean, to each his their own. I mean, it's important to, make sure your 3D printer's at a level set and you keep it that way. I used to work at several plastic factories, says Allred. Nice. Yeah, Darlin, you mold at like 500 to 700F, I believe. I haven't molded in a long time. That is extremely hot. I have some TPU filament. It's like rubbery. It can bend and flex. It's fun to print with. Wow.
One of the use cases for the multi-tool head, the Prusa multi-tool head, was that it acted. You print it out with the regular plastic, and then you add a layer of TPU, and then continue with regular plastic. That added like a vibration absorption element to the 3D print. So you can print like, if you really want to, you can print things like vibration dampeners for portable AC or something.
Yeah, Mutton. I guess Mutton makes a good point. It's always a good thing to know how to like fully assemble, disassemble, because he says he can do a clutch in his Subaru in 3 hours now, which is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
For anything really. No.
Mhm.
But now these days, car wise, I don't have a gas car anymore, so
Oh,
I
wow.
don't even want to think about maintenance for my car now. So, yeah.
I've been
I
next
don't.
to
Well, to be fair, I don't have to think about it at all beyond tire rotation.
I've been next to a machine where the acetal sat up in a barrel way too long, and it made everyone in the area tear up and more. That is scary.
Jeez,
Wow.
acetal sounds very familiar. Is that the stuff that? Oh, that's like what water blocks for water cooling is made out of, right? Okay, that's why it sounds.
Okay.
That stuff requires high heat.
All right. Since I'm a Pepega that's still learning about 3D printing, what are some of the coolest, most surprising things somebody could 3D create or 3D print?
A car.
Really? You really?
So yeah, people actually 3D printed a car. Not just out of plastic either, but there's also actual metal 3D printing stuff. It's essentially metal powder, and they use lasers to print stuff, and that's a whole process. But one of the more surprising things
Metal
is I
filaments are
would
wild.
say, I think the most surprising thing would be the metal casting I was talking about earlier. So you have aluminum cans laying around, you get it melted in the furnace, and then you 3D print something, put it in sand, and then you can 3D cast, or you can metal cast something from the 3D print if you have the right filament or resin. That part
yeah.
is actually really cool. So you can make pretty big things, really.
Yeah, you could make armor, like actual metal armor out of aluminum. That's crazy.
Yep.
All right.
That's one of the more cool ones, I would say.
Lost PLA casting. Smokescreen, it's way easy. You actually don't need to have 30,000 psi like most molding machines. A lot of people are moving towards low pressure molding of a less than 500 psi. Parts have been designed for it, but it's way, way lower cost. Interesting. Yeah, they used to do them with wax or foam, guns, robots, tools, repair parts, molds, casing, toys, armor. Wow. Can't wait till we start 3D printing food. And like, can you like 3D print tissue? Like human tissue?
I mean,
In theory?
it's been done. I believe
wow.
in the recent Stranger Parts, he was walking through the White House Science Fair. I have no idea what the name of the White House Science Fair is called. I just call it that because accurate. But they were showing off. There's this one booth that was showing off 3D printed human tissue. So that's very interesting. We'll see what happens.
Interesting.
If we can 3D print human organs, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But we're probably way far off from that.
Actually, I saw
3D printing. Go ahead.
a Disney video where they were showing that they just purchased some dude's patent that was 3D printing structures, like with concrete. He had a huge concrete 3D printing machine. What do you think about that?
It's cool. My only issue is that those are for low density housing. As we there's a huge housing crisis, right? Just like across California
Everywhere.
and the West Coast, actually.
Everywhere.
And then as remote work came up, it got worse and worse for everyone else also. So even the housing crisis in New York started pouring out even further out. I think Austin, Texas is having their own issues also. It's all just go outpouring, right? So I don't think 3D printing low density housing is the way to go. It's really the high density housing we need to get up and running. But that's another kind of worms.
Okay, so it prints like a single structure.
Yep,
and
pretty much.
It's barely big enough for one family. Okay.
Yep.
These concrete printers, they need to adjust their layer settings. Just how bad they are.
Oh yeah, they're pretty ugly. Yeah. There's post processing required.
Worse than Epson. Kick W. Interesting. I guess I'll have to watch a video of that later. Because Disney was buying it because it was like a alternative way they could make like their structures for like princesses and Disney characters and stuff to then do some post processing to make it, look like an actual castle.
Yeah, in that case, it's just more of a creative application, but what's stopping them from using foam instead of concrete? Unless it's like at the park. Wait, no, they can still use foam.
Imagine not using Prusa Slicer for your concrete printer. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think 3D printing is changing the way people create and design things?
Ooh. Instead of relying, so one of the better things that come to mind is like instead of relying on these manufacturers to create replacement parts, it's sort of 3D printing has democratized the replacement parts industry, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. The repair industry. Like I don't like for my Raspberry Pis, right? I don't have to buy a case. I just 3D printed my own case. There's also 3D printed computer cases. I don't have to buy my own computer case. Embroidering machines, even braiding machines. Obviously, I've already been doing. If you can extract a 3D model from a game, you can 3D print it. Of course, don't sell it because that's a copyright issue. All sorts of different things. The potential is pretty much up to what materials are available.
LiDAR scanned printing?
Oh yeah, I was actually trying to experiment with that, and that's been tough, but I haven't been trying very hard. I've actually tried to 3D scan like a mask I have bought from like a Renaissance fair, but that's not working out.
No, you
I
cannot
have
have
to
my
experiment
model.
more.
Box TV says my next PC build will have a 3D printed case. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. If you can customize the case, why not? Because if it's a small form factor case, every centimeter counts. Every millimeter counts. So if you are using off the shelf parts, you can get the clearances even more snug. I only wish I can 3D print tubing for my water cooling setup, but that's not going to happen. Oh.
Yep, going 3 liters if possible. Damn, Box TV.
Nice.
It's tiny. What are your thoughts on the future of 3D printing?
As long as bamboo doesn't get their way of being a walled garden and does not become more popular. But I do see issues of it being restricted legality-wise because ghost guns have been a huge issue. I don't know where I sit on that. It's a complicated process because I really want to keep my 3D printer offline, but if legislators have their way, everything's gonna be online and restricted somehow.
Monitored.
Or it could be like the paper printers where there's like a 3D mark, or where there's an imprint of what printer and who owns it.
Bamboo tried to add a DRM to filament. Bro, you
Yep.
have to be kidding me.
They have these like RFID tags with their filament. So far they haven't locked it down. I haven't heard stories of them voiding warranties for using off-the-shelf filament yet. But I'm not also paying attention. I'm not paying attention to the Bamboo Labs discussion either.
I will also agree
Bamboo.
on the topic of ghost guns. I did watch a video where somebody took like a pipe, some wood, like a nail that they kind of like welded in as an actuation device, and made a homemade gun and took it to a gun buyback thing that one police station was having. And the police were like, no way this operates. And the dude demonstrated it for them, and they're like, fine, here's your $200. The dude literally put something together for less than $200 and then made a profit.
Yep, I heard about that. Yep.
So, well, yeah, what's your thought of ghost guns?
It's a complicated process. See, the issue is that if we do more gun control, people will do 3D printing, and then 3D printing will lead to more ghost guns, as they already have. I'm not a politician or legislator for a reason. And it's a complicated navigation. It's very complicated to navigate. There's give and take. I really dislike the use of ghost guns.
So
I'm pro gun, but I'm also pro gun control. If that ever matters anything.
Yeah, so assuming the NSA wouldn't spy on you and come to your house and you could 3D print a gun, would you?
No.
No.
Just for the... I wouldn't... If it was like a metal 3D printer, probably.
Yeah, like you bought
plastic.
yourself like a really nice metal 3D printer.
Yeah. Probably.
Probably.
If I can undermine the gun companies, then why not, right? But as it stands, nah.
Yeah.
I think it might end up being that ammo is more controlled if ghost guns keep on going the way they are. Actually, no. California has already required something for ammunition, so...
I'd be scared of using a 3D printed gun out of plastic that would explode in my hand. That's a good point, Hatch. A lot of I saw one model where it was like single use. Like it fired one bullet and then the model was done for.
Yep. I think it was also on Vice News. I remember seeing that. So that was like early prototypes.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you can, like Smokescreen says, get the barrel and a couple other components. Yeah, like your Glock handles these days are usually plastic anyways. So
I think it's like the receiver or something. I don't know which part exactly is the part that's controlled. That's the part people are printing. Yeah.
Until I can print a new 3D hand, says Hatch. True.
Put some armor.
On that note, what are your thoughts on the future of 3D printing? Like, where do you see it going?
I think it's gonna just improve. We touched down on like 3D printing human tissue. That'd be cool. 3D printing food sounds cool, but it sounds like something for these high-end restaurants, these bougie-ass bougie, fancy restaurants, Michelin-starred, 3-star crap restaurants that are probably 3D printing food. That's probably where I would start, but I think it'll be wasteful for actually 3D printing food.
I would love to 3D print chocolate desserts in the shapes of all kinds of shapes and
That is
things.
true.
I think that would be fun.
But arguably, you can just 3D print a mold and
True.
then melt the chocolate and just
True.
yeah. What's the other stuff? 3D printing parts is cool
Hatch
as long as
says
the material exists.
3D printing as a consumer activity is still in infancy. Industrial 3D printing is as old as time. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I would say so because metal 3D printing has existed for some time now.
Yeah, welcome back, Cat Dude. We are interviewing North Star, who is a not only a 3D VTuber gamer, but also a maker. He does 3D printing and making content on his channel. And everybody who's a fan of 3D printing is here, and they are talking 3D printed. Yeah, low pressure molding like casing, chocolate, anything that can handle that temperature will work fine. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
I can make a
The other alternative
chocolate ninja
is-
gato and sell it as merch, and you guys can consume it.
As long as you get the right material, don't get like get the food handling stuff taken care of, get the food safe material.
Oh, that's right. Cottage law type of thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's good for prototyping. I think just like Hatch mentioned, right? Consumer printing, 3D printing is still developing.
What is going on? What just happened? Dead Sun! Welcome. Dead Sun Prime, how are you? How was your subathon? I was gonna raid you, assuming you were still going. But this means you must be done.
Busybody, I love you.
Hello,
I really
Raiders.
Do. You're definitely one of my coolest people
hello.
ever.
So, if you guys didn't know, welcome Raiders. What was it, last weekend? Or was it last weekend that I interviewed Dead Sun Prime? Or may have been a weekend or two ago. But every weekend, I do an interview stream. And today we're interviewing North Star. This guy right here. North Star is a 3D VTuber. And he does 3D maker content. He is a 3D printer. So we're interviewing him talking about 3D printing, which Dead Sun, you're a huge maker yourself. Like, you just raided right in to the perfect discussion, Dead Sun. Because I've seen Dead Sun make his own little plastic merch or plastic items of things from his stream and send it to his viewers. But yes, Dead Sun, how was your subathon? How did it go? What did you unlock? What did your community unlock? Rated right after stream crash. I am a 3D to 3D guy. Exactly. 3D gaming, 3D VTuber, into 3D making. We unlocked a lot of stuff. What was the highest thing you unlocked? Or how many subs did you get unlocking what? How many bits did you get unlocking what? About food, the simulated space missions I helped run, we presumed a conceit of 3D printers turning plant matter into scientifically produced animal matter. Spam.
Nice.
Oh, welcome Dead Sun community. I'm Ninja Gato. I am a 3D VTuber. I'm usually alive in Unreal Engine, but today we are in the Micoverse, because the Micoverse is a 3D VTuber platform that we support on this channel. Let me link the Micoverse as well, so if you guys want to learn more about the Micoverse. So Dead Sun, if you haven't checked out the Micoverse, you should, because if you could make a quick VRM of your model, you could join us in this scene right here, right now. So there's the link tree to the Micoverse. We unlocked $150 for levels, over 70 gifted subs. Nice. Over 30 subs. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you had a good subathon. Have you ever considered doing one of those, Norph? I don't think I could ever do. Yeah, I don't think I could ever do that.
I need my sleep.
Like,
just for my mentality.
Like, I get
I'm
the Lulu like right around hour 10. Like 12-hour streams, I'm just like blah 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 blah. I can't see how people do 24 and 48. But I'm really excited for you, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, welcome back, Open My Eyes. How are ya? I'm also having a birthday party on the 21st for my birthday. Well, that's awesome. That's in 3 more days. There you go, gatos. Make sure you go and follow Deadson Prime. Wish him a happy birthday. Couple days. He's an incredible streamer. His stream and his chat is integrated into his 3D Unreal Engine project, and you can actually have fun with him and mess with him in his world. I think they were having fun the other day. Like during his subathon, lots of people are going and bonking him, which I found out in my interview with him actually shocks him. IRL. Like, you see him like shake his hand in response to being shocked. So make sure you, I won't say torture your streamer, but make sure you have fun with your streamer. Make sure you go hang out with him. There we go. He doesn't know what's coming. I know, smokescreen. He does not. He does not. Deadsun, Boom, and a few other Twitch streamers have their own Mikoverse that they just haven't opened up to everyone yet. True. Yeah. Technically, you guys could be connected to other people's projects. I'm working on it, Gatos. I'm working on it. Gerald has been working hard in his chat. Lurking hard, you mean? Well, welcome. Thank you for coming over, Raiders. I appreciate it. Alright, so if money was no object, what 3D printer would you buy?
Industrial or consumer?
Doesn't matter. Industrial or
Oof.
consumer. Like,
I haven't done any research into industrial other than the metal 3D
Okay.
printing.
alright, fine. Of the
Sorry.
personal, since that's the one you've done research, what would you buy?
Consumer grade. Definitely the Prusa XL with the 5 tool heads and enclosure. Definitely.
Why that
Because
one?
now I'm thinking about laser engraving, and that might be possible with the multi-tool head now.
Wow.
So the multi-tool head part is cool. This 3D printer I have actually has the AMS, so Automated Material System, I think it's called. So I can print multiple colors for the filaments, different colored filaments. The issue with this printer is that in between the times it's switching material, it has to poop. It has to purge the old material it has left over, and then refill it with the new material.
Aurelia, I saw your question.
So
Just one moment.
poops lots of waste.
Let's let him finish his comment, but I will answer your question in just a moment. Okay.
But yeah, so that's the benefit of the multi-tool head I'm seeing, because there's going to be less waste. Also, it's XL, so you can make huge prints. Yeah, Prusa XL.
Prusa XL is what you would buy. Because it has 5 different heads for 5 different applications, and maybe more in the future.
Yep. I'm hoping there will be laser engraving in the future.
Nice.
I'm thinking about it, but we'll see.
Okay. Alright. North Star, how would you describe the Micoverse? How would you describe what this is?
Ooh. It's been a while since I've mentioned anything. I feel bad about it now. I would say it's a VTubing platform, but it is first and foremost a platform where you can hang out with a community. You could build things here. Right now, we're hanging around with a floating island I built in the alpha room. It just happens that it's good for the background stuff, right? But you can build houses in here. You can build racetracks, castles, boats, lighthouses, mazes, even obstacle courses. You can build it on the fly, right? You don't have to hop on a project and build it in the project and then get the triggers right. It's just build it and then people can just run through it. And then yeah, you can have people come in like who we have here. I have who's in here?
Yeah,
Like
mild
we have
mechanics.
Mild in here. Yep, Mild mechanics, 2 mechanics. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool way to interact with your community.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will call it a Unreal Engine powered metaverse application that a lot of VTubers are using, similar to VR Chat, just Unreal Engine powered. And I will say since it's Unreal Engine powered, I will say Unreal Engine is the superior gaming engine. Let me go into the other camera real quick over here. We'll go take a look at mechanics real quick. Like mechanics T-posing, but you can get a better sense of like the hair looks a lot better than I would say here than in VR Chat.
higher fidelity.
Higher fidelity. Like you've got the material of the, like you can tell these are the stretch skinny jeans that are like jean-like material, but aren't actually jean. Like the fire VFX looks a lot better. Like let's look at what Mild is wearing. You can tell that this is a reflective material. Like materials in general, I think look better in Unreal Engine. And even if you're a 2D PNG VTuber, it's easy to just get a off-the-shelf 3D VRM. Or we have people that know how to take a flat image and make it moving. Like Mechanics the other day was being Joel, the sturgeon, in the Micoverse as a 2D image. So this is kind of fun. You can have fun in here. So that's what we do, is we hang out. And the creator is one of the coolest streamers you've ever heard of, and that is Code Miko. She is the CEO of Micoverse. It is, her app being developed. She's got a team of developers who actually hang out in Twitchland. Like we've had it to where they've come into the chat and hung out with us. Like we called them in live and being like, hey, we're having a bug right here. Watch, look at this. And they fixed it, like on the fly. Like within the next launch of the next version of the app, it's fixed. Like you've never gotten better support. So I started as a PNG tuber. There's no shame in that. I miss those days because it was a lot simpler. But anyway, so. Alright, here comes Beppo. He's hanging out. A 2-bit one? No, I think I had more bits than that. Okay, let me get the camera more centered on you, North Star, since this is your interview. Get back over here. Beep. So if you are interested in the Micoverse, I pinned it in the chat with that Micoverse link tree. You can find out all information about it. And if you're a streamer, you can get a streamer role, which allows you to have Twitch connectivity to have stuff like this. Interactivities. Punch the streamer.
Yep, and everyone can see that happen live in Micoverse.
Yep.
So it's really fun. And you can get punched yourself.
Kind of the same idea like VR chat in a way.
Go.
Yeah, it's a lot like
There we
VR
go.
chat. But it's the sandbox. Like we have maps that are neighborhoods. We have maps that are like there's like a forest map. Oh, Beppo just cheered 17 bits. And just took us all out with a fire truck. That one hit. Yeah. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You should, if you are a streamer, you should definitely check it out. There's a nice alternative. All these
Also
interactivity.
Live.
Yep, it is using Live Link. All these interactivities were Code Miko's business intelligence that was what made her stream fun and interactive, and she gave it to us in her product. So, getting hit by the fire truck or a homing missile. Here comes a missile. It's a nice alternative. I don't stream in the Miicoverse all the time, but I do quite a bit. I do it quite a bit.
There are some fun interactions you can have. Really.
For some reason, I'm feeling a little tired. I wonder why. I wonder why, Dead Son. May or may not be. Somebody just went through this huge ass streamathon. Subathon. Well, do all your aftercare. Get a drink, get a beer, relax, go hug your kids, hug your wife. But thank you for bringing your community over, Dead Son. It's good. Thank you for sharing them with us. So maybe you did 48 hours.
Not even asleep. Stream.
Wait, he was awake the entire 48 hours? Are you serious?
That's what it sounds like.
Bro. I'd be delusional at the point. I wouldn't know what's reality and what's He took naps?
Oh.
Okay, he took naps.
Okay, good.
I slept. Okay, so he's not full Delulu. He's not full Delulu. Okay. Alright, Alright, let's still have fun with that. You had infinite money. What industrial maker product would you buy? It doesn't have to be a 3D printer. What industrial maker thing would you buy?
Oof. Do solar panels count?
Yeah, if you wanted to go off,
energy.
you go off grid. You'd go off grid to have your own solar grid.
Definitely. With the way the power company here is screwing us over, yeah, about right. If I had to go scale down, probably, yeah, one of those fancy CNC machines, as Smokescreen mentioned.
6-axis.
Six-axis. Oh
Damn.
yeah, there's like a robot arm in there and everything, pretty much.
What's the 6-axis time? Exactly. That. How does that work?
It's like a robot arm essentially, right? So there's the bed which goes X and Y, but the robot arm can go like in between crevices and bend 90 degrees. I think let me even remember.
I'll have to
heard
check
about
it out. I'll have to check it out.
But it's expensive.
Okay, let's circle back to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of content do you enjoy streaming the most on your channel?
I wouldn't say I have a particular favorite, but of course gaming is the easy way, I guess, because I enjoy gaming, obviously. Yeah, and if I had to say like which genre or whatever, it'd probably be first-person shooters.
Nice. First-person shooters. What was the last one you played, and did you like it? Also, Aurelia. It looked like Mechanics had his 2D VTuber there that was doing the booba. There it is again. There it is. See, so you can be 2D in the Miicoverse if you want to be. Let me snooze this ad. Let me snooze this. Okay, what was the last FPS you played? And why did you enjoy it?
It's definitely No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
I actually played it on stream for the past 2 or 3 streams. It's resource collection, resource management, etc. But I play a lot of different FPS games, not just on stream. I think it was Battlefield 2042 and Counter-Strike, obviously. I do like to say that if I tried a little harder, I can be Major League Gaming if I really wanted to. But I'm not into being Major League Gaming. I've been playing FPS for ages. So, yeah.
Wow. What was one of your first FPSs that made you love the genre?
Half-Life.
Half-Life?
Yep, 1990s, late 90s. Yep, that was an experience. That is for sure.
Nice. Okay. North will
Half-Life
easily
3
destroy
is
Gato in gaming. Yes, he definitely would, for sure. And then what made you decide to stream on Twitch specifically? Like, why Twitch?
it was just I have a connection with YouTube that may not have allowed me to stream on YouTube. It's just say that. And I didn't want to touch Kick because Kick seems to be the Wild West right now.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Twitch was my go-to. But eventually, after some time, I will be on YouTube.
Hmm. This YouTube
Also,
baby.
I did intend to try to do multi-stream, but yeah, no, I don't know about that. I don't want to pay however much it was for restream.
Mm-hmm.
So
You could
we'll
do
see
like
what the future holds.
3 for free, I believe, free stream. Or you could do a couple of them for free.
Interesting. I think it
Mm.
was limited to something. I don't quite remember.
Oh, and then Mild asks, are you a fan of Half-Life Alex?
Oh hell yeah! I played that thing 3 times. The next time I play, I'm probably gonna try to play with a haptic vest because there's
Oh.
actual support with the haptic vest.
You have a haptic
Um,
vest? You just happen to have a
no,
haptic vest?
I do not yet.
Oh, okay.
It is in the future though. That thing is expensive and the use cases are slim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played that. I bought the nunchucks from Valve for that reason. I didn't have the Steam Index controllers before. I started off with the Vive Pro, still have it, and probably will never go away because it can do wireless gaming.
And then Mild wants to know, have you seen the new haptic force feedback gloves?
I've always heard rumors about it, but I think the reason I haven't kept up with VR news is because I can't play VR right now because space is limited. So essentially, what happened is that the space that I use for VR, I converted it into a workbench for 3D printing and stuff. So I have no space for it anymore.
Nice.
I would have to rent an Airbnb or something if I really wanted to.
Space is a commodity. Yep, that's true. That is true. All right. All right, Gatos. It is that time.